In this lesson, what we're going to cover is validation using HTML5 elements. And we're going to do this by validating users' form input. So let's understand HTML forms. HTML forms, they are basically one of the main points of interaction between a user and a website. So this is going to allow user to send data to the website. And most of the time that data is sent to the web server. The first thing we need to do in our HTML file is to create a form tag. So this is the form tag. Now, one of the attributes that we see right here is called action. So the action, what that does, it defines the location where the form's collected data should be sent when it is submitted. So it can be some files that is there, such as a JavaScript file or a PHP file. So it'll probably look something like this, where the file is at. And then there's another attribute called the method. And it has these two values right here, the get and the post. And the get, what that does is, it defines which HTTP method to send the data. So what it does, it appends the form data, whatever the data is from the form, it appends it in the URL. So it will look something like this. It will have if you look at the right hand side, the Chrome, it will have a question mark after the URL, and it will do a name value pair. So it'll probably, it will be the name, whatever the name is, and the value. And then when it adds, if it's a lot more, it will just, whatever the name of that field is, and then also the value that was submitted as well. And it'll just continue going on and on. Now, the bad thing about this is once a user submits, they can see the information up there and they can copy it. And this is not a good idea, because if it's a sensitive information, they can copy it, and so it's not secure. So, and another thing to note about using this method is that the length of the URL is also limited, about 300 characters. So the other one, which is better to use instead of this, is the post. So let's do this, the post. And just to explain what the post does, the post is it sends the form data as an HTTP post transaction. So this has no size limitation, and also you cannot copy it. You cannot bookmark this. So it's better to use this, and it appends the form data inside of the body through a HTTP request. So the data is not shown in the URL, just like the get method. So we're not going to be using these two right now. We're trying to concentrate on the HTML5 elements. And first, let's create a p tag, and inside that, let's put a input. So right here we have one of the types of inputs that we have, which is a text. And let's put a label over here, and let's call this label first name. And let's put another attribute in this input called first name. Let's hit save. And as you see right here, all of this is an input that you put your name in there. So nothing special. So that's one of the types, input types. So I want to create a few more. Let's create, yeah, okay, that's good enough. So let's call this one last name. Another input that is available is called a radio. So let's do this right here. Let's do radio. Let's do this, male or female. So name affiliate female. In our name right here, we put gender. And for us to have a radio button, we have to have the same name. So there we go, the same name. But of course, we have to have different values to know which is which. So we'll have the male here, and we'll have the female here. Let me just save this so you guys can see how it looks. There we go. So we have the first name, the last name, and you have the male, female. This is actually not that descriptive. Let's put gender here for the label, and then after this we'll put the male here, and then female. There we go. Hit save. There we go. Let's put a little break. All right, great. Now, of course, when you're working with a form, you need a submit button. So let's use this one as a submit. So in the submit button, it's kind of similar. All you need to do is put a submit, and in the value, I'm just say send info or send data. And when you hit save, there you go. So it's not doing nothing right now, but you see a refresh. So if we did have the attributes here with the files attached, with it referencing the file and the action, and also doing a post for the get, it will submit the data. Now HTML5 provides some new input types. So let's create another. Just to have this in order, I'll put this right here. So there's some new input types. One of them is the date. So let me see, let's put birth date. Now as you see, the default, it has the month, day, and year right here. And then if you notice, HTML5 provides this. This is not JavaScript. So this is something new, a new input type, and it provides a calendar for you, as you can see. And when you select it, it puts the date there for you, which is great. I'm going to create a few more. So another input type is email. And we will see what the email does. Let's see, email. Change this to email as well. So hit save. Now the interesting about this, let's say someone's lazy and they just want to do it like that. It includes this alert, letting you know, it's good for validation. So letting you know that it's missing an @ sign. And of course you can use JavaScript to make it check a little bit more stuff that you would want, probably a .com at the end. but HTML5 does provide that part of validating HTML, your input. Another thing that is available is, let's say, okay, here we go. Let's do the telephone. The telephone. And that type, all this is TL. So it will allow you to put in the number. It doesn't do anything special. You would have to create some JavaScript or whatever you're using to validate that. But it is good to have. So let's create a few more. Now, another cool thing that I think is cool is, let's see, what is your favorite color? Say color. And that type is color. Now, this is pretty cool. It provides you with a palette. So when you click on it, you're able to see, you're able to select whatever color you want. You know, hit OK, and it shows it right there. So let's move on to another one. All right, let's create a few more. Okay, let's change this and let's say rate this tutorial right here. And what you can use for this is called range. So save and see how this looks. As you see, it has a nifty little thing that that HTML5 provides for you. It's like a volume type of thing. Now, let's say, what's your age? Now, instead of using a type, we can use a number. So it provides, default, it provides this up and down arrow, and it also does not allow you to put in any text. So let's put one more input type. So another one is URL. Just put URL. Let's change this, your site. Hit save. Now we have our URL for our input in URL. So if we were to go over here to try to put in the URL, if you put in anything, you will see that it does not recognize that it is a URL. So that's a good thing that HTML5 provides. It provides a message if you do not put in a URL. So you would have to put in it recognizes the HTTP. So if you have this type of format, the warning goes away, the warning message goes away. And for you to do probably the .com, you would have to validate that it's a .com or .net or .co, whatever it may be. You would have to use JavaScript for that. We have covered the old input types. As we see here, the text, and also the submit button and the radio button. So that's the stuff that it has. And we have our new ones, which is the date. You have email, you have for telephone, number, color, range, and URL. So this is great. Next, we'll cover the other input attributes.